Also, I've no idea what you're going to ask me.
Say that again.
Oh, I said I've no idea what you're going to ask me, so we're just going to go with the flow, see what happens.
Oh, that's fine. Like, I mean, it's funny, right? Because I'll get some people that'll come on and be like, "Oh, can I get some, laid out questions before we start?" So I'm like really professional. I'm like, "Listen, like, if you want to be professional, this is probably not the conversation to be in. Like, we're just having a chat. I'm not the fucking
We'll just
queen. You
have a
don't have
chin
to be
wag.
professional." Although, what would you say to the queen if you met her?
Oh, um, I'd say, all right, Lizzie, can I nick one of your corgis?
Mm.
Although actually, I don't really want a corgi. I think it'd be fun to nick one of the Queen's dogs. But yeah, I don't actually want a corgi. I don't know what I'd say to her. I'd probably check she was all right, actually. I probably just want to see if she's all right because it's a big old thing to be queen.
Mm.
And I,
And she's done it for about 1 billion years.
yeah, she must be knackered.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
I I want to know what she's like behind closed doors. I reckon she's a right trickster.
Yeah, I reckon she likes a practical joke.
Yeah.
I remember listening to an interview where they said she loved Ali G, and that made me really happy. I think it was Prince Harry having a chinwag with someone. It was when the princes were doing is it heads together? Heads together. They were doing their mental health awareness campaign,
Mm.
and yeah, Harry said that the Queen loves Ali G, which made me grin a lot.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. I think she's an absolute
Anyway,
legend.
I'll let you say that.
No, I think she's an
Uh,
absolute legend. Like it's
yeah.
surreal seeing her face on coins over here. I'm like, excuse me?
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it's a strange
Is
thing.
that
Well, that's, an empire, I guess. Whatever that means.
yeah, that's colonialism for you.
Yeah. Uh, again, well, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Just like the whole Brexit
Anyway.
thing, right?
Anyway.
Um, okay.
Anyway, I'll shut up and I'll let you start.
I would say I'm gonna have to get you talking about the whole spoken thing, simply because that's how I got onto you, and I thought it's fucking cool, and the way you deliver and just kind of like be yourself is really fucking cool. So yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, you ditto. I've been watching your stuff and I absolutely love it. My favorite is your Dear Diary one when you're writing a letter to yourself.
Oh, really?
It's yeah, I love it. I love it because you talk all about the self-criticism that obviously is so rife for all of us, but then there's just this little bit where you say and go treat yourself to some chalky milk because you love that. And it made me laugh and smile so much because actually, do you know what it is? Those little moments where we just say to ourselves, just give yourself a little treat,
Mm,
just give yourself a little hug in
mm,
the form of chalky milk, or sometimes I'll just because I don't make enough time to read, so I just keep a pile of books next to my bed, and if ever I wake up too early because my head's busy or whatever,
mm,
I'll just make myself a cup of tea and I'll sit in bed with a cup of tea and I've got a packet of rich teas by my bed. I dunk
mm.
4 of them and I'll drink it and I'll read a little bit of poetry or a novel or whatever. But yeah, that's my little treat.
Mm. Oh, rich teas.
Yeah, really the best. Well,
Yeah.
milk chocolate hobnobs, even better.
Oh, oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, really dangerous. Really dangerous.
Yeah, there's something
But
I
yeah,
can't
thank
have
you.
more.
No, got to be at least 4.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but thank you about the spoken word. I've only been doing it really for the last year and a half, sort of thing, 2 years really. Um, but yeah, I always think the spoken words on Instagram that catch me are always the ones where you watch them and you go, well, that person's just themselves.
Mm.
They're just speaking from the heart authentically. It rhymes a little bit, but it's basically just them having a conversation with whoever's listening or
Yeah.
whoever's watching on screen. Um, so yeah, I think whenever I perform my spoken words, I just sort of imagine that there's someone behind the camera that
Mm.
I'm talking with, which sounds a bit bonkers really, but it makes me feel less of a knobhead doing it. But yeah, but there's something magical about spoken, isn't it? Because it somehow you can get the words to feel like they fit your body and fit your voice, and it feels like you're embodying a story somehow when you're doing it.
It's a really weird concept because if you like sit down and do like a quote unquote therapy session, right, with a counselor or a mate, you'd be like, "How are you feeling? What's going on?" You'd be like, I don't know. Go away." And then if you actually sit down and kind of write it out into like a story thing, and even if you say it, like it all makes complete sense.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I don't know what the magic is in poetry, but somehow it manages to articulate the sort of chaos that's in all of us a
Mm.
little bit. And maybe it's because poetry is so out of the box that it fits because inside of us doesn't really make sense. Like each one of us, if we think about it really, we are all a mystery completely. Like I will only ever know you so well. You will only ever know me so well. I will only ever know myself so well.
Mm-hmm.
There is always a part of us that just doesn't make sense or just is too far beyond our own comprehension. And somehow the way that poetry can be whatever form comes out of you, that feels like it fits somehow.
I always think the writer writes the words, but the reader creates the wisdom. In the sense of,
Hey, I like that.
hey, like this the this is weird things that come out of my brain whenever I'm sat on a rock in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah,
you know.
how much are you charging for that
Uh,
one?
I'll put it on the invoice, all right?
Okay, great. Half a packet of hobnobs.
Oh, they don't
Yeah.
sell them over here.
Oh, I'm sorry for you.
I know, and they also don't
I'm not
sell.
going to send you them
Oh, come on.
because the postage is through the
Yeah,
roof.
that's true. That's true. They also don't sell the chili heat wave Doritos, and I nearly got on the next plane home once I got here.
I fully support that decision.
Like yeah, I was really caught between a rock and a hard place. Like because when I left, I was like thoroughly addicted to chili heat wave Doritos. But
That might be the MSG, you know.
it might be, and you know what? I'm okay with it.
Might be.
You
Okay.
know, it tastes so good.
I'm glad you're okay with it. But go on, what were you saying? The poet,
Um,
the audience
yeah.
write the
So like
words, the
the
audience gets the wisdom.
yeah, it's a strange one, right? Because I'll speak to a few people, and it kind of knocks the nail on the head of how I'll think too. Is like it's more of a therapy session for yourself. Like you're kind of writing for yourself. Even if you're like creating some character and explaining how they're feeling, that somehow will link to either a feeling you have thought way back when or something that you feel right now, right? Or you can just empathize with someone else. You're like, oh, I feel that pain and I'm gonna like create this fictional character and write about it. Um, but it's kind of mind blowing in the sense of well, that's literally all for you, and then someone else will read that, and that's an entire different perception on it, and they could go somewhere completely different, and then they're getting something completely different from the same word, which I think is a really beautiful thing because you can do it with art, as in like abstract art or like physical art, painting and shit, because I can look at it and see one thing, you can look at it and see another, like the goblet and the two faces, right? But we also kind of know what we're looking for. but with like
Mm,
words, like they can be misconstrued so easily, and it's exactly the same word.
yeah, yeah, completely. We all, it's why like anytime something is written down, it instantly becomes something living
Mm,
because it is always in relationship with so many things. It's in relationship with the writer, in relationship with the reader, in relationship with the people that the reader will then go and speak to about that piece of writing, who will have different opinions on it. And, poetry and all written word is such a catalyst for wonder in that
mm,
way, to just think, oh my goodness, we are all so incredibly different, and how that difference then is a gift back that enriches the writing by by the grace of how different we all are.
mm.
um
I love hearing people's
yeah,
like where they go when they read something, or even if they listen to something, right? But if you write a poem down, I love hearing like different depictions of it. They're like, oh, well, I drew on this experience, or I went to here. I thought she was going through this, and like, it's not for us to know the truth. It's not the writer's responsibility to turn around and be like, well, this is what's happening, blah blah blah. Like, I'm right. It's like, no,
yeah,
like everyone's right in their in
yeah.
their own right. But I just find it fascinating how
That's
people can
so
go.
spot on. Yeah, it's so spot on about the truth. Like there is a real sense of when you write something, even if when you write it, you're going, oh, this is my truth.
Mm,
This is authentically the truth that sat in me when I wrote it. As soon as it's on a page, you've got to let that go, because it's going to be nobody else's truth who reads it. So there's a real sense of like giving it away and just trusting that somehow when people read it, they will take something from it.
mm,
And I think when we write and it is true to our voice, that will always be the case. Always be the case.
it's like,
But I think it's why it's so scary sometimes to write and to post things, because there is that sense of having to risk
mm,
letting it go and go, okay, this is not mine anymore,
mm-hmm,
you know?
mm-hmm. Yeah, I I feel that. However, no one has ever come up to me, or we've had discussions and they've been right with their assumption of what I've written. So it's like a speechless cry for help. And I've yeah, I found like no one's ever hit the nail on the head. So I'm just like, well, I hope this helps you. I really do, in any way it needs to, even if it's just, oh, it's attached to a pretty picture. Um, and that's it. And they'll just like, well, it could be from this or that. I'm like, no, like I put that out there because that's my therapy, but that's it. You'll never know the truth behind it. I think that's beautiful.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And, talking about the pictures that go with it, I love it when poets put artwork with their poems, because it just sort of expands that vision that's there, and it's another tool for exploration for whoever
Hmm.
comes across it,
Hmm.
really.
And I find the most powerful ones, as like for me, like as the person that creates them, is when they conflict each other. So like the words are like
Yeah,
completely
bit
different.
of juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of juxtaposition is always a good tool. A
Mm,
good tool. Yeah, that contrast in image and words. Um, because so much of life is contrast. It's obviously there are so many things that naturally complement one another, but actually the good stuff happens when things come up against each other that don't quite fit.
hmm.
And somehow, that can turn into something pretty cool, I
But
think. Or thought provoking,
or thought
anyway.
provoking. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing of yin and yang, right? They are opposites, but they come together.
That is very true. That is very true.
Um,
Give me a little lesson on that now.
Game over. Nah, like I don't know, like I'm a very like I take a lot from like nature and that as well. And try and take a lot from every aspect of life. I like to have conversations, and hence like we're having a conversation now. And I'm like, well, if these things like are actually around, like religion, like theories and all that type of shit, then there's probably going to be some truth in it. So, I could
Yeah.
probably take something from it because I'm blonde, so I'm not the
Mm.
smartest cookie.
I resent that as a blonde.
Um, we have the most fun though.
Take it back. I mean, that is also true,
That
but
is true.
we can be smart cookies too. Don't do yourself down. We can be smart cookies.
Okay, okay. Yeah, all right. I can't
But
speak for
yeah,
the
I
rest
think
of them.
there is. Good. I don't think they want you to speak for the rest
No.
of them. But I think you're so true, so right in saying, religions, nature, there is wisdom there. There is wisdom in seeing the relationships between, life and creation and having awareness of something bigger than ourselves somehow.
Well, we see two opposites combine twice a day when the night turns into day and when the day turns into night. And then we're just like,
Mm.
no, everything needs to just, mingle together, be the same, uniformity. And I'm like, excuse me, that's not how life works. There's going to be
No.
differences.
Differences and change,
Hmm.
the two things you can rely on.
So, like, why did you start doing all this?
Why did I start doing all this? So it's a big story, really. I used to be an actor. I used to be an actor
Wow.
and worked in the theatre all around the UK and a bit in Europe. And then in 2016, I had a breakdown. My family had had quite a lot of trauma when I was growing up, and I'd been responsible for a lot of care and looking after family members and bits and bobs like that, and not really looking after myself very well.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I became really ill with OCD and PTSD and this, that, and the other. And after a lot of hard work, I remember sitting on my bed and feeling like myself again. And for the first time in years, I prayed and I said, God, if you're out there, can you turn what happened to me into something good? And this idea fell into my head and it felt like a gift, really. And it was an idea for a campaign. And I asked people all over the world to take a selfie with a post-it note on their head that said, hashtag it affects me, to show the universality of mental health. And then the campaign amazingly started to go viral, and 3.5 million people around the world were reached by the campaign. And it just became this movement of hope, of people connecting and supporting one another. And it just was such a tool for good in the world, and it changed my life, really. And I started working. I moved to Brighton, started working for the church down there, and I ran a night shelter for the homeless community in Brighton. And I knew that something was drawing me on to step away from acting and say, okay, it felt like it was time for that chapter to just not close, but that it's time, it's had its time, and that this was a whole new path for me. But with change there comes grief a little bit, and because of creativity is so much a part of who I am, and that journey, that I remember, yeah, I prayed about it and, said, oh, this hurts, but I know that this is where I need to be and what I need to be doing. And then poetry just started arriving in my heart and just started writing. And yeah, I didn't stop really. And the poems just kept on coming. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, like sometimes a word will arrive in your heart or like a little sentence or a rhyme, and you just go, whoa, crap, I've got to write that down. And then somehow it just keeps going and going until a whole poem is formed. And I've never experienced anything like it really, but it's given me what I needed. It's allowed me to keep sharing creativity, sharing art, telling stories, which is where my heart will always land, is telling stories. Um, and yeah, that's it's a bit of a roller coaster, and an unusual one, but that's how I started poetry.
It's beautiful. It's like it chose you.
Yeah, yeah, I think it did. I
Mm.
think it did. Tapped me on the shoulder and went, "Oi, I need
Mm.
your gob, okay?"
Yeah, yeah. And it's like I don't know, it's like everything inside of you like told you that you need to process some things. And it's funny how you say things came to you and you're just like, holy shit, I need to write that down. And like that's
Mm,
like 95% of what I write is I don't sit down and think about it. It like I'm driving and I'm like, I have to pull over and I fucking get on the notes on my phone, or I'm in the shower.
yeah.
Like honestly, like one of my favorite ones recently, it was 4 lines and it came to me in the shower. I was like, wait, hold on a minute. Like I'm just like, I don't know, I was in a little bit of a rut. I was like, I'd been working all morning. I was like, oh fuck, okay, I'm gonna have a shower, like freshen up, um, and have a little walk outside if I need to, and I'll go again. And next thing you know, I'm like, doing my business in the shower, and it's like, holy shit, oh my god, I gotta write this down.
Yeah, it is though, it just arrives.
Mm,
Like, I always whenever I talk about poetry or writing, I always say, "Oh yeah, this one fell out."
mm,
And that is, that's how I describe it because that's what happens.
mm,
I never think, "Oh, what theme do I wanna write about?" or "What issues do I wanna talk about?" That's not how it happens for me. I mean, maybe it does for some people, um, and I'd never ever want to say like, oh, there's only one way of
mm.
creating poetry because that's just not the case or true at all. But yeah, for me, they always just sort of appear somehow or fall out. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and it's like it really is emotion like coming out, and it's how you like feeling through things. And then I really like how you said it's then gone, it's done, it's kind of given out and it's kind of floating away. It's like that's exactly how it feels. Like you've kind of ticked that one off. You finally scratched the itch and
Mm.
like kind of sewed up the sewed up the scratch a little bit and then just let it float away and let it heal. And that's a beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's right. I think that's right. Each one kind of puts a little bit of balm over something
Mm.
that's going on somehow, I think.
Do you prefer the
And then it's like, yeah,
sorry, do you prefer the written stuff or do you like the spoken stuff a little bit more?
oh, that's a really hard question. Um, for different reasons, both for
Mm,
different reasons. So spoken, I love because it's just vibrant and you get to know someone and well, not that you don't get to know someone through the written, but you get to see who's written it when it's spoken word. And there's just something so electric about watching someone deliver their own words and how you can almost see how that makes them feel to say their own words and to tell
mm,
their story. You can see it in their body and in their eyes, and there's something so vibrantly human about that. But what I love about written poetry is that it slows me down. it slows me down. You cannot rush reading poetry. Like you just physically can't. Like I have a couple of books on my coffee table. I mean, what not bad as a coffee table? It's not really a coffee table, it's a couple of boxes. But like I have a book, a selection of books there just to like pick up and read a poem whenever I have a second. And like sometimes I'll be rushing from thing to thing and I'll pick it up and go whoosh, 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 flip through the pages. And I get to a point and I just can't go read it fast. Something in my heart goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not what this is about. This is not reading to digest and spit it out. This is reading for transformation. This is reading because poetry does something to you and it automatically slows me down and I have to sit with it and just take it slowly and read it again. And I think there's not, we're so used to digesting things quickly and immediately, and poetry does not let you do that. Yeah.
That's totally true. Like with the whole spoken stuff, it's a strange one, right? And I don't know, it kind of like fires you up when you listen to someone talking through what they've written down. Like they've processed it through their head, they've processed it through writing it on the page, and now they're processing it for a second time or a third time, speaking it, and kind of like getting into the flow of themselves, and like you said, letting their personality shine through, and like telling their story. And it's like you're listening to hip hop without the beat. You're just like, oh my God, this is,
Yeah.
come on. You're like, and then they'll say a word and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, like
It's
it
like
makes
listening
me
to the
sick.
Black Album all over again.
Hey?
I said it's like listening to the Black Album for the first time.
Yes, yes, yes. Like yeah, it's cool. It always fires me up. And then the written stuff like can kind of like kick you in the throat. It's like, ooh,
Mm.
that was stunning. But
Yeah.
the spoken stuff, you're like everyone's like kind of bopping around. You're like, woo, let's go.
Yeah. There's an energy with it, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would like to go to like a slam poetry an event. That'd be
Yeah.
really
Do
cool.
they have the feeling?
Yeah, they got a couple around, right? But a lot of it a lot of it is dominated by the current fad of the world or society, you know what I mean? So whoever ends up quote unquote winning, what does that mean? Um
Yeah.
will have just basically have gone with the fad. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is this what this is for? Or is, supposed to
Yeah.
be pushing the boundary?
I think I like, yeah. I- I struggle with it kind of because I do like the energy of the slam and like the back and forth and this and that, but also there's something in me that just goes, I don't know if maybe it's just for me. Like I like an open mic night where
Mm-hmm.
because that feels like a safe environment and non-judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think when you stick competition in it, everyone's anxieties immediately go through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether you're confident or not, whatever that even means. Like,
Yeah.
you know, nobody doesn't like winning, and especially when it's poetry. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think you've got to have quite tough skin to go into the slams.
I think
Um,
I think I'd like to do it one
but if
time
you can, then
to walk in and just be
yeah.
like, and every like have you seen 8 Mile with the
You know what? I literally was going to say you want to be Eminem and 8 Mile, don't you?
yeah, and I just want to rock in and just literally rip myself apart, and then that's it.
Have mom spaghetti.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Were you
And
impressed with my reference in there?
I mean, yeah, pretty good. I'm impressed. 1 point to Gryffindor.
Thanks. Thank you. I'll take it.
Have you done the test?
Although I'm definitely
Oh,
Hufflepuff.
have you done the test? Are you like,
Yeah. You know what? I have done the test and I was mortified because I was Slytherin. Couldn't
wow?
believe it.
Sorry,
Yeah, it was
you
a
need
big
to
shock.
exit the call.
It was a big shock. Yeah, I've questioned myself a lot. Um, so, But I think, I think that it was a fix.
I think
I
so.
think it was a fix.
I think you were stood up. It was rigged.
Have you done the test?
Yeah, I did it not long ago.
Were you Gryffindor?
Of course I was. Not all heroes wear capes.
Of course you bloody were. Of course you bloody were. Brave and Northern. You're going to be Gryffindor, aren't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely human.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the North. I miss the North, man.
Yeah. I'm a Midlands girl originally. Midlands
Whereabouts?
girl. All my so I grew up Gloucestershire, but all my family are Wolverhampton and Birmingham.
Midlands is a
Yeah.
weird place because it's neither the North or South, so we just call it no man's land, right?
I reject that.
It's
I mean, there, there are parts of it which are weird. I'm not gonna lie,
yeah.
but
I don't know.
we have our identity in the Midlands.
I spent a little bit of time in Birmingham. That's there's parts
Yeah,
of Birmingham's pretty cool.
yeah, I love Birmingham. I love it.
Big city.
Yeah, it's a whopper. It's a
Right.
whopper, but the people have big hearts and they are good people.
Not as good as Manchester, but we're gonna gloss over that.
I thought you were going to say that, funnily enough.
Well, it is the greatest city on earth, and I am wearing my Manchester beanie just
You are, you've got your B on.
yeah, just
You
to get
got
one
your
over on you.
B. Oh, cheers. All right.
But
Yeah, the Midlands, we haven't got a symbol other
do you
than,
not?
although, I don't know, where I grew up, Wolverhampton, we've got all the lock factories. So maybe it's like key and lock and all the canals. So maybe it's something to do with that.
Although,
But yeah, okay, you have to be.
do you watch
Have you come across the B Bar Barman? He's another Manchester poet.
No, I haven't.
You need to look him up. He is a brilliant spoken word poet from Manchester. You'd really like him.
Right. What's
Get
his
your pen and paper out. It's at the
the
dot. Oh yeah, at the dot B, as in BEE.
yeah.
Dot.
Yeah.
Bar dot barman. Do you know what? I'll send it to you. But he's
Got it.
ace. I think you'd really like his stuff.
I got it. Manchester, you say? I mean,
Yeah, Manchester.
what a legend. What a guy.
There you go. Mates already.
Yeah, that's it. We go way back. In fact, we're probably cousins.
So weird.
There's more people in Greater Manchester than there is in this entire South Island.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
fucking blows my mind.
accurate but insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And fun fact, do you watch Peaky Blinders?
A little bit, not loads. Sorry. Don't hate me.
Okay.
I've let you down. I know.
It's
Okay. But do you know why I didn't watch it? Because the accents on it were not great a lot of the time.
the
And
first season not great. I'll give you that. But they've got better.
Oh, did they? Because I watched it and they went, nope, that is not that is not the sounds. But if it got better, maybe I should go back to it and give it a little.
Yeah, like
A little go.
there's I think her name's Peggy. Is it Peggy? Aunt Peggy? I don't know. One of the characters in the first season sounds Scouse. I'm like, ooh, that's a bit different.
Well, I do like the Scousers as well, so there you go. It'll be all right.
It's blasphemy. Look, Manchester and Liverpool love
What
to
are you
hate
gonna
each
do?
other. We love to hate each other.
Yeah, I know. Well, you need to get over that, don't you?
Well, I got a mate over here who's Scouse, and it's hilarious whenever we like go grab a coffee because it's just super loud and it's just like conflicting accents. And I mean, again, like it's a love-hate relationship, and it's only hate because it's funny. You know what I mean? Because we just
Yeah,
wind up the Kiwis,
just gutted.
which is quite, yeah, it's quite funny.
Mhm.
Um, Back to your work, because you let me go off on a tangent, so that's your fault. The BBC,
Well, yeah,
that's a bit of a big deal.
yeah. It was really cool. Yeah, really flipping cool. Really flipping cool. Yeah, actually, that was the Bieber Barman's fault because I was really new to Instagram, didn't know anything, and then BBC Upload was doing their thing, and he just tagged me and went, "Mate, you need to put your spoken on this." So me being clueless, just yeah, I uploaded a few, and BBC West Midlands. West Midlands, thank you. They went, yeah, all right, we'll play your stuff.
Fuck,
Yeah, I was over the moon. Over the moon.
mate, that's
Yeah.
that's incredible. Did you go on live and speak it, or was it just like a recording that they played?
Yeah, no, so BBC Upload, what you do is in fact, you should do it for Manchester. You upload just one of your spokens,
Mhm.
and then they go through them all periodically, I think. And they use that video that you sent, they take the audio off it and use that on the radio.
Wow, god damn.
So yeah, pretty cool.
So not only an
But yeah, you
actress
should
around
definitely
Europe,
upload your stuff.
hey?
Huh? What did you say?
I said, I said not only an actress around Europe, but also on the radio. Like, fuck, it's a bit of a big deal.
It was all right. I mean, yeah, it was lush. It was wicked. I did a little dance.
Oh yeah.
Um, Maybe a big dance.
And maybe a couple of rich teas.
Yeah, 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 more than a couple, but yeah, it happened.
Oh, that's fucking cool. That's really cool. So what is what's your goal now? Like what is something you want to take it for? Like do you want to bring it in and do more spoken stuff, like kind of in person? Do you want to like write a book? Do you want to just keep trudging along and see what happens?
Oh man. I really want to do a show at some point with all my pieces um, in a real space with real people.
Fuck yeah.
Um, just yeah, because each of my pieces kind of has a story that goes with it. So I don't know. I kind of like just to be in a room with people and to chat with them, and then do a piece of spoken, and then have a little chat, and then do a piece of spoken until they want to go home. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd really like to do that at some point. And yeah, a book would be phenomenal. I don't know. I kind of just sort of I do troll along a little bit with my writing and just see what happens naturally, really. But there is part of me that thinks, Laura, maybe you need to be a bit more focused with this and sort of have a plan. But it's never been that way before. So I also go, no, I don't think that's me.
Mm. And it never goes to plan, right?
um, Never goes to plan. When you make plans, God laughs. That's what they
Hmm.
say.
That's true. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Best laid plans are mice at 10.
Well,
Yeah.
if you do in person, you're gonna have to let me know. Like it'll be a fucking big commute, but I'd love to be there.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll let you know with more than 24 hours notice because that's the
Oh,
flight from New Zealand.
Jesus Christ. Like honestly, I've like it took me like 6 weeks for my body to kind of acclimatize. Like I was fucked. I was absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've even thought about walking back. Legit.
I mean, that would be stupid, but you could do it.
It would take about 3 to 4 years. Yeah,
Yeah. But imagine the stories you'd have to tell at the
exactly.
end of it. Imagine the people you'd meet. Do you know what? There's I cannot remember the title of it, but there's a beautiful novel called The Pilgrimage of Walter something, and it's just about this old man in his 80s, and one day he leaves the house and he just keeps walking, and I think he's going to visit an old friend in hospital in the north somehow, but this whole book is a story of him walking and how people help him along the way, and how it's sort of
Wow.
the stories that come to him as he travels. It's a beautiful book. It's a really beautiful book. And I apologize to the author for not remembering their name or the title properly. The Pilgrimage of Harold. Something. It's Harold, not Walter. I went for the instant old man's name.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my recommendation for you.
So you're saying I'm going to be that old guy that gets helped along the way?
Yeah, I don't know if people would help you,
I
but
don't think
like
so.
you'll be the of course they would. Of course they would. But yeah, that's going to be you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be okay with that. You know, you'd come out with some wicked stories. I'd always like to be that granddad in a rocking chair telling stories. So if I make it out alive, I would be telling wicked stories.
I can see it. I
Yeah.
can see it.
Maybe I just speak in rhymes. That's the only way I can communicate. It has to rhyme.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. I think that's what will happen.
challenge.
I think that's what will happen.
So if I disappear,
Challenge
right?
accepted.
If I just fall off the face of the earth, you'd be like, right, he's took this challenge a bit too seriously and he's walking somewhere.
Yeah.
He's coming home.
Yeah. If you if you stop posting on Instagram, I'm going to send all the seagulls from Brighton over to New Zealand to guide you home.
Okay, wicked. Oh, yeah. You can also get on a shipping container, right? And it takes you 4 months.
Yeah. You could do that
It's also
if you wanted.
and you stop at all the parts and you can get off. Like, look, I don't like flying.
That's quite
Can you
cool.
tell?
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell.
I've considered some things. I'm not swimming it.
No, I wouldn't advise
No.
that. Even if you had a rubber dinghy,
Oh,
I would.
a little armbands too. The rubber ducks.
Little armbands. Yeah, and a trail of rubber ducks behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That'll
totally,
work.
totally, mate.
That'll work.
I really appreciate your time. I won't take two more of it. I know you're a busy lady, so I appreciate you, mate.
You're welcome. This has been a joy. It's been a
Thank you.
joy.
Manchester is better than Birmingham, though.
You're going to end it on that.
Yeah, of course.
You're going to end it on that.
Of course.
Okay.
We have the Arndale. Arndale's better than the Bullring, mate.
I mean, you don't have a massive golden cow. We have a massive golden. Oh, it's a bull, not a cow. Okay, all right, it's done. It's done. Birmingham's best.
No. Oh, they do some. To be fair, the best curry I've ever had has been in Birmingham.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
Okay.
by a friggin' curry mile. Like absolutely incredible. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're ever in the need for
Mind
a curry,
blowing.
go to Birmingham.
That is the one. That is the one.
That is the one.
And on that note,
thank you very much.
I'm going to skedaddle.
You go have a great day.
This was lush.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too, darling.
See you
I'll
later,
speak
pal.
to you soon.
See you later.